Yeah, knock it out.
All right, we are currently we're recording. Now, what I wanted, I argued with you about this before because I just wanted to like pick your scab on this, but what good are endangered species? That's my point. What in my life, and I live,
Jeez.
I'm gonna live in the house in the city and go to Walmart and play video games or whatever. What if there's no more black rhinos? What is it to me? Yeah.
It's all I can say is that's a completely childish viewpoint. It's absolutely childish to think that way. It's self-centered.
That's
It's
so just figure if you insult me, that would be the way to think. Yeah.
well, I mean, if somebody's stupid, they're saying something stupid. That's an indication that they might be stupid.
So why is it stupid?
Because it's self-centered and self-serving. All right, you're not thinking about anything other than what affects you. That's the problem.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
And it's and from I understand this is a very popular viewpoint in the world today, but it really gets down to a philosophy. All right, you have, if an endangered species goes extinct, you don't care because it doesn't affect you, but that just implies that you don't care about anything other than what affects you only. The bad part is ultimately these things will affect you. If not you, then your children, which I don't have any children, so I should give less of a fuck than you. But
and besides that, you're completely an atheist, right? So we're just random chemicals floating in space.
That's not random. It's very organized. It's just
random, or it only appears organized because we've evolved to this level.
Yeah, no, all life is very organized. It starts in an early stage of separating from your environment.
But there's no purpose behind it.
Purpose is survival.
Yeah,
so that's the purpose of
so
life.
the black rhinos, if we could take their land away from them, we have a better chance of surviving, right?
I think we already have taken their land away from them, and our survival is really inconsequential. We're going to survive no matter what. We're like cockroaches. So there's only one species on this planet that lives in every single habitat on the earth.
Spiders.
Incorrect. No. Only one.
Well, us. I know. Rats.
Rats are right behind us, man. Rats are right there, and that's why they're with us. And that's the same thing with cockroaches.
And we know so much about them too.
They're ultimate generalists.
Uh-huh.
So you have to look at it this way. It's like, if you don't find any value in maintaining any habitat that doesn't affect you hand to mouth directly, then there's something missing out of you, is what I'm saying. And I know you're not like this necessarily. I'm just saying, if that's how you feel deep down inside, there's something missing, and you have to understand.
You're talking about Donald Trump Jr. here.
Yes, he's. It's like with him. It's not just something missing. It's more like, like a black hole in the middle of his heart where it sucks all the life in it. So.
Well, I mean, your answer is beyond pragmatic. I mean,
it's not pragmatic. There's no pragmatism to it, other than, do you think these things have a place in the world? What is your philosophy on the life on Earth? Is it only shit that you can put in your mouth, or is it something? Does it have value as a habitat or as a species unto itself? I always like to respond to people when they say, well, what good is this species? And depending upon how much of an asshole they're being when they ask me, I reply to them with, well, what good are you? All right.
Yeah.
So it's really the same thing. What good is a mosquito? Well, what good are you? You're the same purpose as a mosquito. You know, your purpose in life is to
It sucks
survive.
our blood, isn't it?
Yes, it's just
Yeah.
survive, eat, mate, pass their genes on. It's the same thing. It's just
Well,
you have this
in
brain in your head that
in that
tells you
case,
something.
we're
Huh?
great. Well, then you got to hand it to us for being ultimate
Absolutely.
survivors. You know, I mean,
Oh, man, we're the ultimate.
we can kill off all the black rhinos and take their land because we are able to do so, and that means that we're moving forward and they're moving back in the survival race.
We are the ultimate hunters, the ultimate killers in the world. There
And
has
the
never
next best
been one
ones are
better.
our best friends.
Huh? Who's our best friends?
The next best hunters and killers in the world are our best friends.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dogs.
So, yeah, dogs.
No,
So
I saw this video
they have thrived.
on tigers. They showed tigers, and wild dogs hunt down tigers. And
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just it's a better in numbers kind of thing. But you know, it's kind of it all comes down to philosophy. You know, do you believe that this earth was made for you? See, humans are so intelligent that our brain has taught us that we're special, right? And it's all ego.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know, maybe inside of a goose's head or whatever, they think they're special and their babies are special. They think that in their head. Maybe that's kind of basic.
Who does?
A goose.
Human babies?
A goose, I'm saying.
The goose does not think they're special.
Well, when you come after their babies, go near their nests, they will attack you.
Yes.
They get very, that's not, you don't think that there's an emotion there that they think that their babies are more precious than anything else in the world?
I think they think that, yes.
So yeah.
But it's not, that's not ego. That's not about their babies being special. I don't think the geese are thinking about their babies being special. I think their babies are thinking about,
I think they are.
I think they're thinking that these are my babies. These are my babies, and that's that.
And they would do anything to protect those babies.
Yes, they would.
Almost anything. Some animals would do anything.
Yeah.
You know, because they think the thing.
How is that ego? That's not ego.
It's something like ego.
It's genetic survival. It's built into the.
Well, maybe that's what ego is. It's a sense of worth. That's what makes a living creature a living creature.
Well, sure. I suppose you're right. You got a point there. It does make it, but do you think that humans experience ego to the same level as a goose?
I don't. Maybe the same level, but not in the same complexity.
That's what I'm saying. You know, if you're going to call the need to survive ego,
yeah, no.
Then, yes, there's
important. I am important.
You're attributing too much to the goose.
That's what the need to survive is about. It's to believe that I'm important.
No, that's what you think it's surviving is about.
Yeah, well, if I don't think I'm important, then I don't survive. I just say, oh, well, I'm not. It's not worth the problem to go find something to eat. You know, I'm not that important. You know.
Yeah.
No, when I'm at this table, you know, most people will feed themselves. You know. You know. The moms will feed the little babies, you know.
Sure.
But after that, everybody feeds themselves, you know, because they're important. They're hungry. They're important. You
got a point there. I mean, the survival probably is related to ego. I would imagine. What I'm talking about is a different level of ego. Ego where it's not about your survival. It's about your pleasure, your entertainment, your
See, I was thinking maybe you might think in a different way, which is more pragmatic, you know?
Yeah. What's pragmatic? What do you mean?
Diversity of creatures and plants.
I was getting to that. But you see, here's the problem with explaining the ecology of species and how an ecosystem is interrelated in every way, is when I tell people about this, their eyes glaze over and they don't give two fucking shits at all, okay? About ecology and how it's all held together, all right? They don't give two shits at all about that because you haven't answered their question. What good is it? Well, you answered my question with some egg-headed thing about an ecosystem. What the fuck do I care about the ecosystem? So
Well,
what I'm telling
it'll
you
come
is
around and bite you in the ass.
What's that?
It'll come around and bite you in the ass, right? I mean,
No. See, you're too far. You're too advanced already. So, so so I found that the best argument against this is philosophy, because people think with their lizard brain most of the time anyway. So it's about philosophy. What kind of care do you have for other things in this world? So the pragmatism of ecology, it's if you have to explain that to someone, they're not going to get it. So if the people don't understand how they're relating to the natural world, it means because they're disconnected from the natural world.
One of the things that kills me about this, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me that a lot of people who live in the countries have less respect for the environment.
I found differently at times.
I guess I'm wrong, and nothing is ever true about people. There's always
I learned this in Alabama. Is people who live out in the country live much closer to, I call it, to their insides. All right. So, but they experience a lot of death out in the country. A lot of things die. A lot of things are slaughtered. A lot of things are ripped apart. A lot of things are. When you live out in the country and you live out in nature, you are surrounded by gore and death all the time, and you find it all the time. I can't tell you how many dead things I've run across in my life. And when they live closer to the insides of their body, so to speak, because their insides of their body can be out at any moment. So this
is just a theory. I think people. Donald Trump proves me wrong on this again, because he's from New York City and he has no respect for nature whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
But I always feel like if you're looking at a hamster in his cage, right? You ever notice that they all poop in one corner?
Yeah.
And well, that's kind of what a city is like, People live, people don't like cities. They think cities are unnatural and everything, but it's actually better for people to live in the city generally than it is to be spread throughout the countryside. Because it's environmentally, you keep all your poop in one corner that way.
It's true. Yeah, you process it and it flows in a place where it can be treated. So,
plus you don't mess up the rest of the countryside by building a septic system here and a dam there. And
if we took all of our human shit, and distributed it evenly over the earth, I think that'd be a very different place.
And that includes, broken light fixtures and stuff like that, which I threw some of those out.
Heroin needles. I mean, all kinds of things.
Yeah. You'd be walking through the Mojave Desert. What a rattlesnake? No, it's a heroin needle.
Yeah, it's a heroin needle. It must be my allotment of shit. No, it's true. If you concentrate it much more, there's a lot that you can do. You can concentrate it. And I used to teach a lesson that way when I was in school, where I would show background videos from the sewage treatment plant, and I would make them do a thought experiment about taking a dump. So, so I said, all right, you go to the bathroom and flush the toilet. Huh?
Were there girls in the class?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure they went home and said, that teacher's weird. No, only came.
I don't think I've ever encountered a student that didn't say that. Every single one.
Okay.
All right. So you flush your toilet. You got to put your head in the mind of a 16-year-old living in the inner city. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You flush your toilet. And the first question is, where does that go? Well, down the toilet. And where does the toilet pipe go? And they don't. It's like amazing. 80% of them never even thought about it in their entire life about what happens next. with the shit you just took. So, and you run them through the whole thing. And then I run them through this other thing where you're like, okay, it goes down this pipe, which goes out into underneath the street. They put pipes under the street, and the pipe goes down the street to the other street, hits a even bigger pipe until finally it runs to this big plant. And I would show them a video of like a sewage treatment plant that's here in Columbus. And then I would say, okay, now how many people live on your street? You start to go, okay, how many people live in your house or a place where you live? How many people live in your apartment complex? How many people live in your area? Now, how many toilets do they have? You start running through how many toilets there are and how many dumps that are taken in a given city block.
Yeah,
and
I saw this one video.
And the light bulbs start to come on. It's like, oh, whoa. People have thought about this.
A lot of shit.
It's a lot of shit. So, yeah. So, it's one of those, it does good to be concentrated like that. So,
yeah, that's one of my points. But I was just thinking that I saw this one. We were in when I did the environmental stuff for a while there, and we studied these new kind of sewage treatment plants that were actually a type of swamp. Do you know about those things?
Yeah, it's basically using wetlands to treat sewage. So yeah, it's a very common thing now, especially out in the country. What you do a lot of the time is you have your like a sewage treatment tank in your yard that the overflow, but then eventually you can let the shit out into the wetland, and you develop a wetland down from your toilet shit pipe, all right, where it comes out.
But they used to have like whole communities.
Yeah. But what happens is wetlands, because of their anaerobic decomposition of organic material, take and clean that. It kills the bacteria, all right, and then it cleans that and uses the nutrients to grow stuff and breaks it all down, and it turns it into soil and muck, basically, in the bottom of the wetlands.
So when I'm walking through a swamp, it's like more unsanitary than I originally thought.
Depends where it's swamp. It is a nice, healthy swamp. Is very clean, but at the same time,
the other end of the swamp that's clean, because that's what they showed. The clean water comes out the other end.
Yeah, clean water comes because it gets treated by the plants and by the bacteria and that are all within the swamp, and it gets sucked down into the roots and into the system. So it's a natural cleaning process of any kind of organic matter.
What percentage of they don't have that for big cities, do they?
No. It's small communities, small areas. You can have it for a big city, but you're going to need an awful lot of land for wetlands.
That's what New Jersey is, isn't it?
No, that was what happened there. It was very different. It was perfectly dry, and then they shit all over it and turned it into New Jersey.
No, if you drive outside of New York, now I know people. There may be somebody in the world in New
Jersey's fascinating.
Will ever see this? It is.
Yeah.
I spent about 2 months in New Jersey once.
Yeah.
And there is like a big like marsh between.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You exit New York City.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And
that's huge.
I mean, I could talk more about New Jersey would be Cuyahoga County almost for an entire state.
Yeah,
that's the kind of not. Maybe I'm exaggerating slightly, but
no, those Jersey swamps are very huge, and they used to be very important for habitat, but I don't think they are as much as they used to be. But it's full of invasive species like crazy. Almost the whole swamp is all invasive species at this point. Yeah.
Well, our invasive species. Well, I just saw what happened with all the ash trees. That was just people. Very few people understand what that was, but I see it with my own eyes.
It's basically what would be I don't know if you call it it's an extinction almost level event. It's the insects came in, and the emerald ash borer came in, and it's decimated the ash population, and they'll survive.
I had one in my yard here. It's fallen.
Is it dead yet? Is it dead yet?
Totally dead. Totally.
Totally dead.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you look under that bark, you'll see the little galleries of the larvae that have girdled the tree from the inside, and it kills it. It's just
Well,
terrible.
what kind of tree did they have back in the old world that they didn't kill it?
Ash trees.
But they
They have
lived?
ash trees over in China. Well, they had basically been living with each other for millions of years. So the trees have adapted to the insect, developed defenses to the insect. That isn't the case here in the United States, as the tree has no defense with this insect. Now, give it 50,000 years of barely surviving, well, then it might be a different story. It might evolve some sort of an ability to resist it, because it's not going to kill all the trees.
I might just kill every one of them, and they won't have a chance to evolve.
I mean, look at the American chestnut tree. I mean,
yeah, there's still some around, aren't there?
It's rare. I've found a few in my life. I have found.
What about that one hybrid that they made?
Yeah, I have one planted in the yard here.
Are you allowed to say that on video? Are you gonna?
Yeah, it's legal. It's legal.
Oh, okay.
I have one planted in the yard. I've sort of given up on it because every time it's never going to be taller than 2 feet, because it seems like
No, it's a chestnut bush.
It's a chestnut deer chew, is what it is.
Oh, so deers like chestnut trees.
They're like, I don't know. It's not chestnut trees. It's just it's a sapling. They just eat every sapling that they can find if they can get their mouth on it.
I don't have that much trouble as you do with deers around here. I'm telling you.
No, you don't.
No, I live out way out.
More hunting.
Surrounded in the woods.
Yeah. There's more hunting where you are.
Well, there is some hunting, but there's less food in the woods for deer than there
that's
are
true.
in the suburbs.
Very true.
So they reproduce like crazy in the suburbs.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of yummy, chewy stuff like my chestnut tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you look at the chestnut tree. That's almost completely wiped out. It might survive. I've actually found a chestnut seed before, and high up on the Smoky Mountains National Park, one of the ridge lines that I was on. It had either escaped the disease long enough to breed, or maybe it's some sort of resistance. I don't know. There's no way of telling. I mean, I just found one. And I found a few outside of Cleveland there, in the metro parks. I found a few chestnut trees there.
Well, what's that little mountain? There have some weird trees on top of that. I've only been there one time though.
Is that the one that's over in Painesville?
It's south of Menor.
South of Menor. Is that the Indian fort that was at the top? That place with the big hill.
Yeah, it's now some kind of a park over there. I think.
I've been up there. I've been up there. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some weird trees over there. But well, anyway, I'll talk to you later because this is get too long and people aren't going to want to listen to the whole thing.
All right. Final word is every single species has just as much, if not more, meaning than you do.
No, that's
yes.
Not me.
Yes.
No.
Yes, you.
Not more than me. Maybe more than you. Maybe more than but not me.
I'll give it up. More than me for sure.
Well, all right. I'll give it. All right. Lately, I'm beginning to agree with you on that. I don't want to get into that. But, all right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
I don't want to not that I don't want to talk to you, but if I make
videos only be so long.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.